Hello, my name is Dr. Kim Hennigy. I am the undergraduate program coordinator for the Department of Kinesiology at CSUN. And this is the transfer student workshop for the fall of 2018. And the purpose of this workshop is to give you all the information that you need to prepare to begin attending classes here in the fall. After you watch this workshop, you will be able to come to campus to some live workshops to ask any questions you may have after watching this workshop. This is some basic information about the department. There are 9 colleges within CSUN, and the Department of Kinesiology is part of the College of Health and Human Development, so you will hear HHD a lot. We are physically located within Redwood Hall. Our main office is in room 250. This is our phone number. This is our website. This is our email address. Our department chair is Dr. Dino Vrangastinos, better known as Dr. Dino. I am the undergraduate program coordinator, and our graduate program coordinator is Dr. Vicky Jacques. These are majors within the Department of Kinesiology. We have an athletic training major and we have a kinesiology major. The athletic training major is technically a pre-major because you can declare athletic training, but you need to formally apply to the program. And we are accepting our last cohort in the spring of 2019. After that, our program will become a master's program. You can get more information about the athletic training major and the application process here at our website. The other major in our department is kinesiology, and within kinesiology you need to choose an option. We have 5 different options. We have applied fitness, dance, exercise science, physical education, and sports studies. I'll just say a little bit about each one of these. Dance is pretty self-explanatory. Physical education is the degree that you would want to get if you want to teach physical education in a K through 12 setting. In addition to your physical education degree, you will need a credential, and we have a credential advisor in the department that you can talk to about that. Applied fitness and exercise science are very similar. They heavily include exercise physiology, biomechanics, and motor behavior. But the primary difference between applied fitness and exercise science is that in applied fitness, you're going to take some nutrition and psychology courses, whereas in exercise science, you're going to take some physics and some chemistry and an advanced biomechanics class. I also want to point out that in order to take physics, you need some math, some extra math in addition to statistics, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. And the last option we have is sports studies. The majority of the classes within the sports studies option include topics such as sports psychology, sport history, sport philosophy, and sports sociology. Applied fitness, students usually want to go into some field related to fitness, health, wellness, or fitness. Exercise science students generally are on their way to applying to a graduate program, maybe in exercise physiology, biomechanics, even medical school or physical therapy. Sports studies. Within the Department of Kinesiology, we have 2 majors. We have the athletic training major and we have the kinesiology major. If you have declared athletic training, you are technically a pre-major. To formally be a part of the athletic training program, you must formally apply, and you can get information about that on our website. The program within our department is going to be transitioning into a master's degree, and so the last cohort application is due in spring of 2019. So if you miss that application date, you will no longer have the ability to get your bachelor's degree in athletic training. After that, it will become a master's degree. Within the kinesiology major, we have 5 options. athletic, applied fitness, dance, exercise science, physical education, and sports studies. Dance is pretty self-explanatory. Physical education is for those of you who want to teach physical education in a K through 12 setting. Just want to point out that in addition to your bachelor's degree in kinesiology, physical education, you'll also need a credential. And so at some point you will need to meet with a credential advisor to plan for that, and we have a credential advisor in our department. Applied fitness and exercise science are very similar. You can see that they are composed of mostly exercise phys, biomechanics, and motor behavior. Okay, but the primary difference is that with applied fitness, you're going to get some nutrition and psychology, whereas with exercise science, you're going to take physics, and physics is going to require some extra math. Most kinesiology majors are only required to take statistics, but if you're going to be exercise science, you're going to need some additional math in order to take physics. You will need chemistry, and you will need to take Kin 445, which is our advanced biomechanics class. So that's really the difference between applied fitness and exercise science. Exercise science is usually students who want to go on to graduate school, and the programs that they are applying to require physics and or chemistry. So for those of you interested in physical therapy, this is usually the most popular option as a pre-PT major. Sports studies is heavy in sport psychology, sport history, sport philosophy, and sport sociology. It's important to look at the top of your DPR. It should look something like this, except that yours is going to have catalog year 2018. I'll say something about that in a few minutes. You should have your major. If it's kinesiology, it will say kinesiology. Otherwise, it will say athletic training. And below kinesiology, it should list your option. If you have not declared an option, it will say no option declared. It's important to check this now because you want to make sure that this is correct. In some cases, students thought they chose an option, but they weren't given an option, or thought they chose an option and they were given the wrong option. So you want to make sure this is accurate. So if there's any problem with your major or your option, it's easy to change. You need to wait until after the 5th week of classes in the fall. Come and see me, and I can help you complete the paperwork to make that change. It's pretty easy. But I really want to point out that this needs to be done in your first semester. If you wait too long to change your mind on your option, let's say you choose exercise science, you take 2 or 3 semesters worth of exercise science, and you decide you want to change to sports studies, your change is probably going to be denied. The reason is that any change to your program is going to be given a 140 unit cap. So if you want to change your major or change your minor, and the change is going to result in more than 140 units to complete your degree, your change is going to be denied. If you want to add a double major or if you want to add a minor, again, they will be denied if adding those things is going to push your total units over 140. So if you think you might change, you don't want to invest too much time in your current major or current option because once you start accumulating units, changing becomes very difficult because of that cap. There's lots of places that you can get answers to questions. I want to point out that on this, we have the CSUN website, and within the CSUN website we have our kinesiology webpage. So I recommend that you go to our webpage and you take some time opening the different tabs and looking at all the information that is available to you. In particular, the Students tab here is going to give you a lot of information about who your advisor is, what the office hours are. The slides for this presentation are there, slides for other presentations are there, links to YouTube videos are there, a lot of really good resources for students on that Students tab. Also through the CSUN website you can access the university catalog. And there you can see descriptions of all the courses, lists of requirements for courses, descriptions of majors, and lots of other policies and procedures around campus. So you should familiarize yourself with that. For advising, once you have a declared option, you will be assigned an option advisor. Sometimes, depending on the option, it could be based on your last name or it could be based on your student ID number, but the advisor assignments will be posted on our website in the fall semester so you can see who your advisor is. Faculty advisors are available during the fall and spring semesters. They do not have office hours in summer and winter. However, Dr. Sangeeta Dube is available during summer and winter terms. If you are going to visit a faculty advisor, I recommend that you visit them during their scheduled office hours rather than contacting them by email and trying to set up an appointment. Office hours are posted on our website, and they are also posted outside of the kinesiology office. When you come to our office hours, you always want to bring a current copy of your DPR, also known as the audit, and you already want to have a semester by semester plan written out. At this point, I wanted to point out that a current copy of your DPR needs to be updated regularly, because whenever you enroll in classes or drop classes or receive grades, your DPR changes. So you want to make sure that's up to date. When you print your DPR, you want to make sure you print the correct catalog year. Because you are all starting in the fall of 2018, your catalog year is 2018, and it will always be 2018. So when we get into 2019, 2020, your catalog year does not change. Your catalog year remains the year that you began here at CSUN, which is 2018. So your option advisors, the purpose of being assigned to an option advisor is for any kind of general advising, semester by semester, information about which classes to take, and administrative tasks such as applying for graduation. Those need to be done with your assigned advisor. However, if you want mentoring, or if you just want to talk to another faculty member, that's absolutely fine. You're able to visit any kinesiology faculty member, and you can look up, again, like I said, you can look up their office hours on our website or on the wall outside of the kinesiology office. All right, so when do you see me? And when I say me, I mean the undergraduate program coordinator. In the fall, there will be 2 coordinators. There'll be myself and one other person. So when do you see the undergraduate coordinator? If you have not yet declared an option, the undergraduate program coordinators will be your advisors until you have an option. If you have questions that your option advisor cannot answer, they're going to send you to one of us. Also, if you are transitioning between options and you don't know which advisor to go to, you can talk to us about that. And if you need some course substitutions that are not related to your option, you would come to us for that. I'll say a little bit more about that, but for instance, if you took a stats class and your DPR is not giving you kinesiology credit for your stats class, and you want to see if we can substitute the class that you took to match your kinesiology requirement, you would come to us and we could find out if that class was equivalent, and if it is equivalent, we can process the paperwork for substitutions. If you want to sub something into your option, like an elective course that you take from a different department on campus, you need to go to your option advisor for that before the course substitutions will be approved, because they have to first be approved by the option advisor. All right, your registration appointment. So within your Northridge, my Northridge portal, you will see your registration appointment, your day and time. Every semester before you register, I would say a few weeks before you register, always go into your portal and make sure that you do not have any advising holds. Our options place advising holds differently depending on the option. So I would recommend looking at our advising policies, which are posted on our website, and they will explain to you what type of mandatory advising is required for your option, and it will also tell you what's the process for meeting that mandatory advising and for getting your advising hold removed. Some semesters we don't place advising holds, but again, if you want to get the information, specific information about advising holds and when they're placed based on your option, we have some policies posted on our website. You also want to check to see if you have any other holds. So you're going to go to your checklist within your portal to see if you have any holds. We cannot remove all the holds. So you may have a health center hold, or you may have a library hold, or you might have a financial aid hold. So it may take you some time to figure out what you need to do to get your hold removed, and that's why I'm telling you you should check this out early to give yourself some time to figure out what you need to do to get those holds removed. If you do have a hold, we can help you. Undergraduate program coordinators can help you figure out what you need to do to get that hold removed. You can just email us or come see us, and we can help point you in the right direction if we cannot remove the holds ourselves. We have the electronic wait lists are available when courses close. So once registration begins, as soon as a course closes, there will be an immediate electronic wait list. So if you're trying to enroll in a class and the class is closed, if there is an electronic wait list, you can get on that wait list. But I wanted to point out that if a class has a co-requisite, in other words, if a class has requires you to take a lab, those would be co-requisites because the lecture and the lab are co-requisites. They have to be taken together. For any class that has a co-requisite, there will not be an electronic wait list. The system is not complicated enough to figure out how to deal with wait lists for two different sections that have to be taken together. So if you're trying to get on a wait list and it doesn't allow you, it could be that that course doesn't have a wait list. If you want more information about wait lists, you can go to the wait list information page on the CSUN website. They also have some FAQs there. All right, this is the super important stuff. You should have your DPR in front of you when you look at this. We're not going to, I'll talk in a minute about some of the general education stuff, but most of you should be done with most, if not all, of your lower division general education, so I'm not going to talk a lot about that. But let's find the spot on your DPR where it says Prerequisite Science and Math. Okay, this is the beginning of your kinesiology requirements. Now, some of you or have probably taken all of these. But let's go through them one at a time to make sure that if you took it, you're getting credit for it. So you need to have general biology. So if you did take a general bio class, make sure you're getting credit for that. If you thought you took a general bio class and your DPR is telling you that you still need a general bio course, then you're going to want to come see me during the transfer workshop in-person sessions, and I can help you figure out what happened. If you haven't taken general bio yet, you absolutely need to take that your first semester. General bio is a prerequisite for anatomy and physiology, and anatomy and physiology are prerequisites for other courses, and so if you want to complete your degree in 2 years, you need to get that general bio right away. The next class listed on your DPR is Human Anatomy and Lab. The prereq for Human Anatomy and Lab is Bio 101. And this is, if you haven't taken this yet, this is important to get this soon because it is required before you can take Kin 300. Okay? And I'll talk in a little bit about what Kin 300 is, but all majors, kinesiology and athletic training, have to take Kin 300. Okay, so you need to make sure you get your anatomy out of the way so that you can take Kin 300. It's also a prereq for some other kinesiology courses, so you need to get that anatomy in as soon as possible. Next is human physiology. Okay, if you haven't had human physiology, again, you need to complete it ASAP. Human physiology is a prerequisite for Kin 346, which is our exercise phys course, and it's also prerequisites for some other kinesiology courses. So again, you need to get this in so it doesn't hold you up. The last course listed here in this section is Math 140, which is Introductory Statistics. Most of you probably already have statistics. Double check that if you took statistics, you're getting credit for it. If you thought you took statistics and your DPR is still listing it in your course list, that means that you're not getting credit for it for some reason. And again, please come see me or the other program coordinator as soon as possible so we can figure out if you took the wrong class, and if you did take the wrong class, whether or not it can be substituted, or whether you will need to take another statistics class. You're going to want to sort that out as soon as possible. All right, so below the prerequisite science and math, you will see the lower division core requirements. There are two different DPR formats. If you are physical education, if you're a physical education option, your DPR is going to look a little different, so hold off until we get to the next slide. For all other majors and options, this is what your DPR will look like. You're all required to take an Intro or Foundations of Kinesiology course. Here at CSUN, we call it Kin 200. Many of you may have already taken it at your community college. If not, you want to take this as soon as possible because Kin 200 is a prerequisite for Kin 305 and Kin 377, and you all need Kin 305 and 377. The other lower division core requirements are our movement requirements. So everybody needs one dance class, one fitness class, one sport class. Some of you may have taken these at community college, but take the time now to look at your DPR and see what you're getting credit for, what you still need to take. These are not priority. In other words, you don't have to take these right away because they are not prerequisites for anything. So you will need them before you graduate, but you don't need to rush to get these in. If you're a physical education option, your lower division core requirements are slightly different. You're still going to need the Kin 200, so that's not different. But rather than those three movements, the dance, the sport, and the fitness, you need to choose one martial arts class, and the DPR will give you a list of the martial arts classes you have to choose from. You need to take a basic dance class, which is Kin 242, and you need to take a swimming class, which is Kin 250 SW. Course substitutions. I mentioned this before. So sometimes when you transfer from a community college or from another university, sometimes your courses do not transfer in cleanly. When this happens, they will need to be subbed manually. So some common examples are general bio. Okay, some general bio classes don't come in cleanly. So if you took general bio, you're not getting credit for it. You need to see me so I can see if we can do a substitution. The same is true for anatomy, physiology, statistics. Also, our Kin 200 class sometimes does not transfer in cleanly, and the activity classes. So take a good look at your DPR, and for all of the courses here that you've taken, make sure that CSUN is giving you credit toward your CSUN degree for those courses. And if you're not getting credit, then you need to see me or the other undergraduate coordinator to see what the problem is. It's either that you took the wrong class, or that there's a problem and the system's not recognizing it. If the problem is in the system, we can sub it in manually, but you're going to want to get those taken care of right away. Once we sub a class in manually, this is really important, if that course is a prerequisite for another course, okay, so for instance, anatomy is a prereq for Kin 300. If we sub in anatomy manually on your DPR, when you go to enroll in Kin 300, the computer system is not going to recognize that you've met that prereq because it's been subbed manually. Okay? So you're going to need what's called a permission number to enroll in Kin 300. So be aware that if you have any manual substitutions and those courses are prereqs for other courses, you're going to need a permission number before you enroll in that course. So in order to get the permission number, you need to contact the instructor listed by email, attach a copy of your DPR, explain the situation. This is really a common occurrence, so it's not going to be brand new to these instructors. And let them know which section number you want to take. It's a 5-digit number, and request a permission number. If you need your permission number and there is not a name listed, then you need to contact one of the undergraduate coordinators and we can help you get those permission numbers. And you're going to want to start this process at least a week before your registration date, because it could take some time to track down the information and a permission number for you. So you don't want to be scrambling an hour before you register trying to get a permission number. The next section on your DPR is the Upper Division Core, and these are required for all majors, athletic training, and all of the options within kinesiology. This is going to be what most of you are going to be taking over the next year, so I want to go through these one at a time. Some of you are eligible to take these in the fall. Some of you aren't ready because you haven't met the prereqs. So you need to be aware of that so you can try to get that in the spring. Your goal is to get most, if not all of these taken care of in your first year at CSUN, so over the next 2 semesters. So Kin 300 it's basically functional anatomy. If you have already completed anatomy and anatomy lab, you are eligible for Kin 300, and I recommend that you take it in the fall. It is a prereq for 345. Okay, so none of you can take 345 yet because you need 300 first. So for all of you, Kin 300 is a high priority. It's important that you try to get that in the fall. 305 is a prereq for some sports studies courses. So if you're a sports studies option, it's going to be important to get Kin 305 as soon as possible. If you have already taken Kin 200, you are eligible for Kin 305. So if you've taken Kin 200 and you are a sports studies option, I would recommend taking 305 in the fall. If you're another option, you could take it in the fall, or you could push it to the spring or even later, because it is not a prereq for other courses beyond sports studies courses. 306 is our sports psychology class. It does not have a prereq, so you're all eligible to take this now. It is a prereq for some sports studies courses, so it's even more important if you're a sports studies option to get this class as soon as possible. The next class in our list is the motor learning class. The prereq for that is Kin 200. So if you've taken Kin 200, you're eligible to take this in the fall. If you are applied fitness, exercise science, or physical education, this is a higher priority course because it is a prereq to Kin 477 and Kin 478, which is required for applied fitness, exercise science, and physical education majors. Like I said before, Kin 345 you're not going to be able to take yet because you need Kin 300 first. So it's important to get Kin 300 soon so you can get Kin 345 soon. It's especially important if you're at applied fitness or exercise science, because Kin 345 is a prereq for some applied fitness and exercise science courses. So you can start to see there's a long chain of prerequisite courses that have to be taken in a prescribed order, and I'll have another slide to go through some of those. The last class in the list is 346, which is Physiology of Exercise. The prereq is Bio 281, which is Human Physiology, and so if you've already had Human Physiology, you can take 346 anytime. It's a higher priority for applied fitness and exercise science option students, because Kin 346 is a prereq for some applied fitness and exercise science electives and requirements. So there's a number of courses that require you to have 346 before you can take it, so you don't want to wait too long to take that. So as I was mentioning, or have been mentioning, there are lots of prerequisites for the courses within the Department of Kinesiology. It's really important for you to know all of your prerequisites and to plan ahead, particularly if you want to complete your degree 2 years from now. So I'm going to go over some of the examples just to make a point about how important it is to know your prerequisites, but I'm not going over all of them, so this is not an exhaustive list. So it's very important for you to go through the CSUN catalog, look at all the courses that you need to take, find out what their prerequisites are, and plan your next 4 semesters accordingly so that everything is taken in the right sequence. So a couple examples here. If you are exercise science, you need 445. If you are applied fitness, you need 417. 445 is advanced biomechanics. 417 is our strength training class. The prerequisite for 445 and 417 and some other courses is 345. Okay, that's biomechanics. The prereq for biomechanics is 300, which is functional anatomy. The prereq for that is anatomy, and the prereq for that is general bio. Okay, so if you have not yet taken general bio, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 semesters ahead of you before you can graduate. So without taking summer classes, there's no way you could graduate in 4 semesters. And you can see that if you were to skip and you were to miss one of these courses in this sequence, you may not get out in 2 years. And that's why it's important to map out your semesters and make sure that all the prerequisites are planned in advance. Another series here, 417, which I mentioned before, is the strength training class. That is required for applied fitness. 436 is applied sport physiology. That is an elective for exercise science and applied fitness. 446 is advanced exercise phys, which is required for all applied fitness and exercise science. Kin 456 is adult program design, and it is it's an elective for applied fitness and exercise science. So all of these courses require you to first have exercise phys. Prior to that, you need human phys, and prior to that, you need general bio. So you can see you've got a 4-course sequence here. I mentioned before Kin 477 and 478. All exercise science, applied fitness, and PE options are required to take 477 and 478. The prereq for that is 377, and the prereq for 377 is Kin 200. So a 3-course sequence. So you can start to see why it's important to get these courses, Kin 200, your anatomy, your physiology. You want to get these courses as early as possible so you can get these courses. I've seen many students have to come back a 5th semester because they didn't plan accordingly. I want to point out that we also have some grade prerequisites. So in order to take Kin 336, which is required for all applied fitness majors, you have to have a C- or better in physiology and in Kin 300. So if you're an applied fitness major and you got a D in human physiology, you are going to need to retake that at some point because without it you're not going to be able to take 336. You also need to get a C- or better in Kin 300. Kin 436, 446, 456, these are exercise science and applied fitness courses. Before you can take those, you need at least a C- in 346. Okay, so when you take 346, keep that in mind. Your grade is very important. If you get a D or below, you're going to need to retake it before you can take any of these courses. The same is true for 445. 445 is only required for exercise science students, and in addition to needing 345 before 445, you also need a C- or better in 345 before you can go to 445. Other prerequisites, and this is just for exercise science students, is that in order to take that advanced biomechanics course, you're going to need physics. So the prereq for 445 is a C- in 345, and you need to complete physics. Before you can complete physics, you need to take math. And so you either need to take math 105, 104, or 103. This here says contact physics department. You don't need to, because I've already confirmed that the current prerequisites for physics are 103, 104, or 105. Most students go 103 because that will take you right into physics. If you want to take 104 or 105, you need to take 102 first. So you're going to have a 2-semester sequence of math before you go to physics. So right now the quickest way into physics, if you have not yet met that requirement, is Math 103, and you can go directly into physics. I also wanted to point out that if you had math in high school and you feel that you can test out of the math requirement for physics, so if you've already had trigonometry, algebra, pre-calculus, calculus, and you feel strong, I would recommend taking the math placement test. Depending on how you score on the math placement test, you may be able to go right into physics without taking any math. And you can get information about that test on our testing website. Chemistry. So most students who take chemistry within exercise science choose to take Chem 101. Chem 101 requires you first to have Chem 100 at CSUN. This is important. So the chemistry department at CSUN will not accept a prereq that was taken somewhere else. So even if you took Chem 100 at COC and you got an A, CSUN chemistry will not let you take 101. So if you want to take Chem 101 at CSUN, you either need to take Chem 100 at CSUN, or you need to take the chemistry placement test. So if you are that person, you took the equivalent of 100 at COC, you got a good grade, you feel good about your chemistry, I would go ahead and take the chemistry placement test, and depending on how you score, you may be able to go right into Chem 101 without taking any prerequisites. Your other option is if you took Chem 100 somewhere else, CSUN's not recognizing it, you can always go back and take your Chem 101, or I should say the equivalent of Chem 101 at a community college. It does not have to be taken here at CSUN. So as I've been saying over and over, it's really important for you to map out all of your semesters now. So do something like this on a sheet of paper. List the courses that you plan to take in the fall, spring 19, fall 19, spring 2020. As you fill in these courses, keep in mind that they have prerequisites. They may have prerequisites. Look up the prerequisites. For each course, If you plan a course in the spring, make sure that you have planned its prerequisite prior to the spring of 19. And once you do this, once you create this 4-semester plan, bring it to your option advisor. We can take a look at it. We can let you know, if you're afraid that you might have missed something, or if you're afraid that you're taking 2 courses together that make your semester too difficult. Put this 4-semester plan together, go to see your option advisor, and we can look at it and give you advice. We're not going to map it for you. We want you to give it a shot yourself at first, and then bring it to us, and we can help you fine-tune it. The next section on your DPR is going to be the option requirements. So that's going to be the second page of the requirements sheet, which if you come to the live workshop, I will hand out copies of that requirement sheet. They're also available on our website. I did want to point out that for now, you should really be worried about completing your prerequisite science and math and your upper division core courses for the department, the courses that we've talked about prior to this slide. But I do want to point out a few things for some of the options. If you're applied fitness, you need general psychology if you haven't already taken it. If you haven't, you want to get that soon because it is a prereq for motivation, which is a course required for applied fitness. If you plan to apply to the athletic training cohort in the spring of 19, you're going to want to look up the prereqs for that program. I gave you the link earlier, and get those prerequisites done as soon as possible. Without those prereqs, you will not be able to apply to the program, and you can get more information about that on the website. So just want to point that out. If you're an exercise science option, you want to start working on your chemistry and your physics prereqs as soon as possible. Chemistry is not a prereq for anything else, but if you want to take Chem 101, remember that you have to first take Chem 100, so you need to plan that. Physics is a prereq for 445, so you need to plan the prereqs for physics soon so that you can get your physics, so that you can take 445 before you graduate. And this is exercise science. For physical education, we highly recommend that you take both Kin 242 and Kin 273 in the fall of 18, because those are prerequisites for courses that you need after that. And if you don't get these in the fall, it's going to be hard for you to complete your degree in 4 semesters. General education, in Sangeeta's presentation, you probably heard about this. Some of you may have thought that you were done with your general education, but when you come to CSUN, even if you've completed all of your lower division general education, you need 9 units of upper division general education, so three classes in upper division GE. I wanted to point out that for some options, there are some double counting. And what that means is there's some courses that count both as an upper division GE and a kin course. So I want to point these out before you start taking upper division GE courses and end up taking more than you need. For all options, Kin 306, okay, so if you remember that's in the upper division core, you all need Kin 306. And that class will double count. It will count towards your upper division core for kinesiology, and it will also knock out 3 of the 9 units that you need for upper division GE. If you are in applied fitness or athletic training, you need nutrition. Some of you may have already had nutrition. If you've already had nutrition, then you're done. If you have not yet taken nutrition, CSUN offers an upper division nutrition course, and if you take that, it will meet your applied fitness or your athletic training requirement, but it will also meet 3 of those units towards your upper division GE. If you took already a lower division nutrition course, CSUN won't let you take the upper division course because it's too similar. Applied fitness. Another course required for applied fitness is motivation, Psych 352. As I said before, the prerequisite for this course is Psych 150. So if you haven't had General Psych, you need to take that so you're prepared for Psych 352. Psych 352 is another one of those classes that can double count. So it will meet your applied fitness requirement. It will also meet 3 units towards your upper division GE. And in athletic training, as part of the prereqs for the athletic training program, you need either Health Science 336 or 345, and either of those will meet both athletic training and upper division GE requirement. Summer is a great time to get some classes out of the way to lighten your load during the fall and spring. I just wanted to point out that the CSUN summer courses are offered through the Sing College. It's one of the 9 colleges in the university. But it's really important that you know that the Sing College does not have state-funded tuition. So summer tuition at CSUN is very expensive. So what I recommend is that if you do want to take summer courses, that you go back to the community college and you take anything you can. Some of you may have completed already everything that you can take at a community college, but some of you may have a few more courses. So any lower division courses can be taken at community college. Your prerequisite science and math, your general bio, your anatomy, your physiology, your stats, your math prereqs for physics, your chemistry, your physics. Also, your activity courses can be taken at community college. So, but before you take a class at a community college, you want to go to this website to make sure that you take the correct course. Okay, so for instance, the physics requirement at CSUN is called Physics 100A. When you go to assist.org and it's going to ask you where you're at, and you're going to put CSUN. It's going to ask you the community college you're going to. If you're going to Glendale College, you choose Glendale College. And then it will tell you very clearly if you want to take the equivalent of Physics 100A at CSUN, but you want to take it at Glendale College, it will tell you what course you need to take at Glendale College. So many times I've seen students go off in the summer and take a chemistry or physics course, come back to CSUN, and find out that it didn't transfer in to meet the requirement because they took the wrong course. So it's really important to use assist.org to ensure that you're taking the correct course. About a year from now, you're going to need to apply to graduate. I'm not going to talk about it in detail because it's a little bit in the future for you. But I just want to point out that it's going to sneak up on you, and I want you to be aware that you need to apply to graduate. You can see the details on the CSUN website. We've got detailed instructions about how to apply to graduate. The deadlines are here, so if you're going to graduate next spring, you need to apply in September of 08. If you're going to plan to graduate in the fall of 19, you need to apply by April 19, and there's actually specific dates in here. I just gave the month. And most of you are looking at probably spring or summer graduation 2020, which means in the fall of 2019 you will need to apply for graduation. It's really important to meet your graduation deadline. If you don't, if you apply to graduate after your deadline, you're going to get a late fee. You may get a registration hold, and you may give up your opportunity for registration priority. So it's very coveted that during your final semester at CSUN, you get priority registration. You register very early, and it's very easy to get your classes. But if you miss your graduation deadline, you may lose that registration priority. That's going to make it harder for you to get your classes in your final semester and harder for you to graduate when you are planning and would like to graduate. I want to say a little bit about preparing for graduate school. If you think you might go to graduate school, you need to start planning for that now. You want to start looking at schools. The degree in kinesiology may not be enough for you to apply to a graduate program. So you want to start looking at the types of programs you may want to apply to and see what they require. Some may require a degree in kinesiology. Some programs may require some additional prerequisites. For instance, if you plan to do a graduate degree in occupational therapy, there are some additional courses you're going to need. This is a good website for resources related to that. If you're going to apply to physical therapy schools, you're definitely going to need some additional courses. Even if you choose exercise science and get your degree in Kines exercise science, there's still going to be at least 3 more classes that you need before you can go to physical therapy programs. So you can get information about physical therapy at this website. If you want to look up information about prereqs, I would recommend going to this website. Really good, up-to-date information on the prerequisite for physical therapy schools. If you want to get some information about our program here at CSUN, they have informational sessions regularly throughout the year. You can go to their website and attend one of those sessions, and they give you really good information that tends to be, general information that's true for most programs, although every program is slightly different. So you need to find out where you plan to apply and look into the details for each of those programs. We also have, there's a link on our website, a YouTube video that explains some of the important things you need to know about the prereqs for applying to DPT programs. These are things you need to think about now. You don't want to wait until your last year and find out that something you could have been doing you weren't doing. So really important to think about that now. If you were thinking about going into some type of health profession other than physical therapy or occupational therapy, I wanted to point out that we have a Health Professions Advisement Center on campus. This is their website. This is their advisor. On their website, they've got detailed information about what you should be doing to prepare for medical school, pharmacy, dentistry, optometry, PA, veterinary, or accelerated nursing. The handouts themselves are going to give you a lot of information, but if you are planning to apply to one of these types of programs and you need more information, I would go visit Dr. Richardson. I wanted to point out that we do have a master's degree here in our department. I mentioned before that our graduate coordinator is Dr. Vicki Jacques. You can get information about our program on our website. If you do plan to apply for your master's degree here at CSUN, highly recommend getting to know faculty members that mentor graduate students, find out what they're doing in their labs, find out who you might want to work with. Because when you apply to the program, one of the faculty members within our department needs to accept you as their advisee. And so once you get to know faculty members, you get to know them, they've worked with you, they like you, that's definitely going to increase your chances of getting into the program. Any type of graduate school, whether it be here at CSUN or somewhere else, letters of recommendation are going to be important, so immediately start thinking about who might write you a letter and getting to know faculty members so that you, when it's time to request letters, there's people who know you. Just doing well in someone's class is not going to get you a very good letter. I don't generally write letters for students who just took my class. I usually only write letters for students who've worked with me on projects, because that gives me the ability to say a lot more about the person and really provide a better letter. So keep that in mind, that you want to get involved with faculty. Your GPA is going to be important, particularly for physical therapy school. So you want to take your classes in a way that you can maximize your GPA. Don't take too much if it's going to threaten your GPA, because that could ruin your future plans for graduate school. Most graduate programs require you to take the GRE, which is like the graduate version of the SAT. So you want to start looking into that. And always have a plan B, because sometimes what you think you want to do, you may find out somewhere along the line it's not what you thought, or you're not interested in it. And so don't have tunnel vision. Think about all the other options that are out there. And talk to faculty members, because a lot of students, I find, they don't know what their options are, and they think they only have one option. So use your time here to get to know people and to network and to find out, what are some of our graduates doing? What are people doing when they leave here? And so you can find out what more options are available to you. A couple other things. Dr. Stephen Loy is the most senior member of our faculty here. He's an advisor in exercise science and applied fitness. He has a very extensive list. He calls it his jobs list, although it's much more than a jobs list. It's an email list of people who have graduated from CSUN over a lot of years. I was a graduate from CSUN, and I was on his jobs list as an alumni. I still am. He sends out great emails all the time about jobs, about internships, volunteer opportunities. He gets alums that send him emails that he providing advice to current students. It's an opportunity for networking, to see what some of the graduates are doing. And even if you're not in the market yet for a job, it's a good way just to see what kind of jobs are available out there. I read all of his emails, and I often see job announcements about opportunities for our majors, about things that I never even knew existed. So you might see something on there you're not ready for, but it might spark your interest, and it could change your plan, knowing that there's something else out there that you're interested in. I also recommend, getting involved in extracurricular experiences, working on your resume now. Every semester you should do at least one thing that you can put on your resume, because by the time you graduate here, you're going to have a handful of things on your resume. You don't want a resume that says that you have your bachelor's degree and you worked for the last 4 years at Starbucks. That is not going to help you get a degree to get a job in the kinesiology field. So you're going to have more things on there. They don't necessarily have to be jobs. They can be internships, they can be volunteer opportunities, they can be clubs. And so I always recommend at least one different thing that you do each semester to add to your resume. You can get some ideas of things to do from Dr. Loy's jobs list. Get to know the faculty within the department, see if they're doing any research, see if they need any help. Look up university ambassadors. This is a university program. It's a great experience. It's a great thing to have on your resume. Very highly respected students are part of that program. We have something called the Blues Project, Jade, and Project Date. These are all projects on campus that you can volunteer for. I'm not going to go into the details now, but I just want you to know that they exist, and look them up on the CSUN website, see what they are, see if they interest you, see if you can get involved. These are all great things to have on your resume. You might want to get involved in student government through Associated Students. The Student Rec Center here on campus has lots of opportunities for kinesiology students. And clubs. We have lots of clubs on campus and within the department. I'll say something about that on the next slide. But these extracurricular experiences really give you five benefits. We call them 5 wins, and that's how Dr. Loy always defines these opportunities, as multiple wins. You're going to get something on your resume. You're going to get some experience, which is going to help you decide if this is something you like or not, which is also important. It's going to help you when it comes time to interview, because often in interviews they're going to ask you questions that are much easier to explain if you've had some experience and you can tell a story about something that really happened. It's going to help you to network. You're going to get to know more people. And if you're working on projects with faculty or other types of supervisors, this is the potential for you to get good letters of rec. I also recommend that you check your CSUN email account regularly, link it to your personal email account, and always be aware of what's going on campus. The department regularly sends out important emails about deadlines. You don't want to miss those. You may get emails from some of your professors about a change in an assignment or a class cancellation, and you wouldn't want to miss something like that. So you need to check your CSUN email at least once a day. I mentioned that there are lots of clubs here on campus. You can go to the Matador Involvement Center website to see all of the clubs. I don't know how many there are. There's tons of clubs. Everybody can find something that they're interested in. We have 4 kinesiology related clubs, and so I've got information here about those. We have the 3 Winds Fitness Club. You can get information on their website. That's Dr. Loy's project. You've got the Athletic Training Club. Edwin Monroy is the incoming president of the Athletic Training Club, so if you're interested in getting involved in that, you would want to contact him. We have the Kinesiology Majors Association, which is just a general club for anyone in kinesiology. This is their email address. And we have the Pre-Physical Therapy Club, which is for any student who think they might be interested in physical therapy or wants to explore physical therapy. This is a super valuable club. Lots of good information, great members that go out and really bring you a lot of really good information from outside. This is their email address. So I recommend that you get involved in these clubs. Just being a member of club is something you can put on your resume, but beyond that, getting involved, becoming an officer, that's an even bigger advantage. It's even something bigger that you can put on your resume. So lots and lots of stuff here. Please take advantage of as much as you can over the next 2 years. You can come to class and you can go home. You can get your degree and not much else. Or you can come here and take advantage of the tons of things that are available for you that are going to help you network, and they're going to help you get your career laid out and your future plan. So really you need to do more than go to class. You really need to get involved. So, and there's lots and lots here at CSUN to do. So this is the tip of the iceberg of what I pointed out to you. Really get to know people, talk to your professors, talk to other students, get involved, and take advantage. And I just want to finish by saying that if you come to one of the live workshops, which I highly recommend that you do, you can ask any kind of questions about this presentation. So it's just basically going to be an open time where you can come, ask questions. I may formally talk about a few things, but there'll be some informal time with questions. Bring your DPR if there's anything you don't understand, if you think something's wrong, if you think there's something missing. Let's get this all fixed before the fall semester begins. So hope to meet you there.